Our way of life is under attack. Throughout history, wars have been fought on battlefields. These battlefields have been in cities, on water, and in open fields. Today, our battlefields are in schools, political rallies, and on TV. These wars are not fought with guns, but with words and through division. We live in a society that segregates and demeans opposing thoughts and ideas by using terms such as political correctness. We are turning into a society that teaches us it's okay to be offended by anything and everything that is said against our own beliefs. These microaggressions are being used to keep the people divided by labeling ourselves and placing ourselves in different cliques. The politicians have realized this power of the media and television and are using it against us. Countries and societies collapse when the people are divided. Look at us. Westboro Baptist Church defines all Christianity. Black Lives Matter defines all black people. The KKK defines all white people. Illegal immigrants defines all Americans that have ancestry in Mexico. Freedom from religion defines all atheists. Inside these and other categories are thousands and thousands of subcategories, each one defined by the most outspoken. These are the ones that get the attention from all the media. But these people do not define us. The majority of us live our lives. We go to work, we come home and take care of our families. We have friends of different races, creeds, and even different political ideas. When we meet someone, we discuss the weather. We discuss work, our families. We do not care about their ideologies. But the politicians and media keep telling us to. We are under attack, not by guns, but by political correctness and microaggression. Our children no longer believe in our Constitution. They bully opposing ideas and think our First Amendment should be limited. We as parents need to teach our children to stand up for their beliefs, but to not get offended by others. We need to teach them the dangers of socialism while promoting our republic. Question everything you are told and never limit yourself to labels society will impose on us. We can win this war, but only if we stop allowing those in control to keep dividing us. We must work together to end division and take back our country. Watch these clips and help support us by subscribing.
Once hotbeds of free speech, college campuses across the country have engaged in an arms race to see who can craft the most restrictive speech code. Years of political correctness, binge drinking, and dropping Bing cherries out of your ass into a shot glass have bred a backlash now where anyone who dares to stray outside the conventional school of wisdom in college is ostracized, slapped with the mark of Cain, and worst of all, made to forfeit their student activity fee discount to see Dave Matthews Jam, and more importantly, Inspire during spring fling on the quad. You know, whatever happened to the notion that college was a place where the best minds in the nation vigorously debated all sides of an issue?
You can speak freely, yeah, to a degree, but you can also lose your job or be shut down by saying something that's merely controversial.
This is why if you have a bunch of people who win the lottery, disproportionately people who are poor and win the lottery end up poor again. The reason people are permanently poor in the United States is not because they don't have money, it's because they suck with money. The reason people are temporarily poor is because they don't have money. The reason they're permanently poor, okay, this is self-evident, folks, that's not even controversial. If you're poor in America your entire life, you are not great with money by definition.
I'm sorry, Mr. Shapiro. I'm at a point right now, quite frankly, where I'm going to dismiss the students. I know there are other questions that would like to be asked.
Why?
With all due respect, Mr. Shapiro, Mr. Shapiro represents a narrative that he's providing to all of you guys based off of his opinions, what he believes, and what he wants to share with all of you. I know that the education was there for all of you to understand left side, right side, whatnot, but also the opportunity was allowed for him to impress upon you some of his opinions about certain things. And I think the lesson was there for me to understand and also for all of you to understand. I think what this is getting into now is it's starting to cross the line.
Pigs in a blanket, fry like bacon. 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 Pigs in a blanket, fry like bacon.
say comedy, it's interesting. Comedy is, I do think, is supposed to push towards the lines of the medium. There are more people now who will let you know if they think you went over the line than ever before.
Don't I know it?
I mean, you have to feel the same way about comedy.
Yeah, but they keep moving the lines in for no reason.
Right.
I do this joke about the way people need to justify their cell phone. I need to have it with me because people are so important.
Right.
You know, I said, well, they don't seem very important the way you scroll through them like a gay French king. Just... Well...
That's very offensive to the gay French kings.
Well, I did this line recently in front of an audience, and comedy's where you can kind of feel like an opinion. And they thought, what do you mean gay? What are you talking about gay? What are you saying gay? What are you doing? What do you mean? And I thought, are you kidding me? I mean, we can't even. I could imagine a time, and this is a serious thing. I can imagine a time when people say, well, that's offensive to suggest that a gay person moves their hands in a flourishing motion, and you now need to apologize. I mean, there's a creepy PC thing out there that really bothers me.
Alaikum. Peace to you all. My name is Saba Ahmed. I'm a law student at American University. I am here to ask you a simple question. I know that we portray Islam and all Muslims as bad, but there's 1.8 billion Muslim followers of Islam. We have 8 million plus Muslim Americans in this country, and I don't see them represented here. But my question is, how can we fight an ideological war with weapons? How can we ever end this war? The jihadist ideology that you talk about, it's an ideology. How can you ever win this thing if you don't address it ideologically?
Great question. I am so glad you're here, and I am so glad you brought that up because it gives us an opportunity to answer. What I find so amazing is since the beginning of this panel, which we are here about Benghazi attack against our people, not one person mentioned Muslims. We are here against Islam, or we're launching war against Muslims. We are here to discuss how 4 Americans died and what our government is doing. We were not here to bash Muslims. You were the one who brought up the issue about most Muslims, not us.
We ready for war! We ready for war! We ready for war! We ready for what? We ready for war! We ready for what? We ready for war! 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 We ready for war!
My name is Jumana Imad Musa Ahmed Al-Bahri, and I'm a student here at UCSD. I was reading your literature. I found that much more interesting than the talk. And I found some interesting things about the MSA, which is an organization that's very active on campus, and it is hosting our annual Hitler Youth Week. You should come out to those events. If you could clarify the connection between the MSA and jihad terrorist networks, because last I checked, we had to do our own fundraising, and we never get help from anyone. So if you could clarify the connection between UCSD's MSA, or if you don't have such information, if you could connect other MSAs on UCs, because the connection wasn't too clear in the pamphlet. Just if you could clarify.
Okay. Will you condemn Hamas here and now?
I'm sorry, what?
Will you condemn Hamas?
Would I condemn Hamas?
As a terrorist genocidal organization?
Are you asking me to put myself on a cross?
So you won't. I actually have had this experience many times. You didn't read the pamphlet because the pamphlet is chapter and verse. The main connection is that the MSA is part of the Muslim Brotherhood network as revealed in the documents.
I don't think you understood what I meant by that. I meant if I say something, I'm sure that I will be arrested for reasons of Homeland Security. So if you could please just answer my question.
If you condemn Hamas, Homeland Security will arrest you.
If I support Hamas, because your question forces me to condemn Hamas. If I support Hamas, I look really bad.
If you don't condemn Hamas, obviously you support it.
Whose new cover story is "That's Not Funny," how today's college students can't seem to take a joke. Please welcome Caitlin Flanagan. Hey, Caitlin. How you doing?
Hi,
pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Well, What a time to have the name Caitlin, huh?
It is, really. I'm going by Bruce now.
It probably wasn't a problem for like the first 20-something years of your life.
There were other problems with it, but this is a new dimension.
I know. Okay, well, we won't talk about that. I really wanted to have you on because when I read your article, I said, oh my gosh, this is the person who's going to continue this discussion. I didn't start. Some other people did. I've mentioned it before about how college kids have no sense of humor, and then Jerry Seinfeld said something, Chris Rock chimed in, Larry the Cable Guy said, I don't play colleges anymore, they're too politically correct. You delve into why, so I really want you to explain that. Why are the college students so politically correct?
Why they're so politically correct now? Well, they're the inheritors of 30 years of identity politics, and that's part of the problem.
What is that?
That means that, you know, instead of saying we all have general principles by which we live and seek to sort of understand our lives, that I'm going to stand up for the feminist cause, I'm going to stand up for a particular racial or ethnic cause, and I'm going to fiercely guard that and completely stand on the side of that issue.
Tribal.
Yes, it is rather tribal.
So tribal, aren't we?
Follow so much. Go ahead.
Okay. I think we're pretty much on the same page. Like, if we could just get on, like, make sure we're on the same page. I think one of the most, like, insidious things about the conflict is the idea of having ununiformed combatants. Like, do you agree with me on that? Like, people
that's
that
a problem.
aren't. Yeah, that's a problem, right? And then also having people who are fighting a guerrilla warfare style of war. I think that we can all agree that that's pretty terrible, right? Like, guerrilla warfare, fighting an army without being uniformed, hiding. It's pretty insidious, right? So, I mean, we're condemning this in all cases, right? Like, you should never fight ununiformed. Right? You shouldn't, like, I'm saying Hezbollah and Hamas, they shouldn't be doing this guerrilla warfare, targeting citizens, right? And so then I guess, like, if we're going to condemn this as, like, terrorism because they're fighting civilian populations, they're also combating people without wearing uniforms, they're hiding in, like, schools and different areas. Like, isn't that kind of what the Founding Fathers did when they were fighting the British? It's kind of like the same thing a little bit in the fact that there was this colonial power.
There's one big difference. Founding Fathers weren't Nazis. They didn't want to exterminate people. They weren't religious fanatics who wanted to exterminate people.
The Puritans weren't religious fanatics? The Puritans weren't religious fanatics?
Yeah, they were religious people who believed in tolerance because they were refugees from religious oppression.
You're right. They were so free of religion that they started dictatorships everywhere and expelled people. Remember, like, the witch trials? Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't want to... save your communist speech for the Finkelstein event. It's enough. It's boring. You are boring. And by the way, she could have picked up this idiocy in the standard text for peace studies, which compares the Founding Fathers to Thank you for sitting for an hour and a half to deliver that rant. The peace studies textbook, which was written by an animal psychologist and a raving leftist named Barish, actually compares al-Qaeda terrorists to the revolutionaries in the 18th century in North America, i.e. the founders.
All right, everybody, move out. Make the circle bigger.
Come on, guys. Couple more steps. Don't worry about him. Couple more steps. Couple more steps. You guys got it. Let's go.
You have to push people.
don't have to push people. They're because you're moving closer to them. Right, because I'm still allowed to be right there. Okay. Yes, but you cannot push them to move closer. They're staying still. I'm not going to push them.
You're with the media. You're with the media. You got to back up behind those signs. That's what those signs say. You need to back up. Respect the students.
I am a student. And I do my job.
They have asked you to respect their space. Move.
These students are walking forward. This is the direction that we are walking. So you're pushing me. They're pushing me.
They'll talk to you.
Everyone say, don't talk to me. All right, don't push me.
Yo. I'm not pushing you.
Okay, well then we will just block you.
You need to step out of here now. You need to go.
Yep.
Students, can you tell him how
you don't have a right to take our photos.
No.
First Amendment that protects you standing here. No, I do have the photo. I do have the right to take photos. First Amendment.
I can't hear you.
Excuse me. If you would like to take photos, you need to please give them space. You cannot be this close to them. Please.
They're being close to me.
What I'm saying is, you need to move back. Yes, you are.
Over the past few months, we've seen protesters, in some cases, becoming violent towards police. These images now are familiar to our viewers. There was the sucker punch also in New York. And a week and a half ago, some of the protesters demonstrating in Manhattan were chanting, "What do we want?" Dead cops. When do we want it? Now. Are these incidents, these videos, responsible for the deaths of the 2 police officers in New York City?
And then wants us to sing God Bless America? No, no, no. Not God Bless America. God damn America that's in the Bible for killing innocent people. God damn America for treating us citizens as less than human. God damn America as long as she tries to act like she is God and she is supreme.